What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Today, we got another EXO-6 pre-order window opening. And, of course, we're talking about the Christopher Lloyd character KRUGE from Star Trek, The Search for Spock. Now, this is one of my favorite films of the Star Trek franchise of all time. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited to see this figure. But I've got some thoughts. So stick around. If you guys like the video, hit the like button for me. Of course, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show. And let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas. Showtime. Here we go.
We are going to this planet. Even as our emissaries negotiate for peace with the Federation, we will act for the preservation of our race. We will seize the secret of this weapon, the secret of ultimate power. Of course, that comes directly from KRUGE himself when talking about the Genesis device in the film The Search for Spock, or Star Trek 3. Now, this is easily one of my favorite Star Trek films of all time. Despite it being in the Kirk era, it does hold up for me. It's a fun story, and of course this comes on the heels of The Wrath of Khan, which for a lot of people is their favorite Star Trek film. Seeing Spock die at the end of that film was heartbreaking. Seeing what it does to Kirk is heartbreaking. And when you dive into The Search for Spock, those wounds have absolutely not healed yet. Now, of course, this character is played by the iconic actor Christopher Lloyd. And honestly, if you didn't know it was him under the makeup, you might honestly have skipped right past it. Most people know Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown, not the Klingon KRUGE. But this is a cool freaking character. So let's first look at the figure from EXO-6. Then let's talk about the price. Then let's talk about some companion pieces that I might want to see with this line, and we'll go from there. So the first photo I've got up here, I gotta say, does look really freaking good. The material choices on the outfit, I think, are top-notch. I really do. I like all of what I'm seeing with regards to the tailoring of this very iconic Klingon uniform. This, for me, is what a Klingon looks like when I close my eyes. That shit we saw from Discovery, hated it. Hated it. This is a Klingon, a real one. And this is the type of representation of a Klingon I would want to have in my collection. The face on this particular pre-order looks to me exactly like the way Christopher Lloyd looked like in the makeup. So well done, EXO-6. Bravo on that one. I think the likeness is actually one of your best so far. Now, we got to talk about the hair, the rooted hair. Was this needed? Would you have rathered see a sculpted hairpiece for this figure? I honestly think I would have. While I would say this does not look bad for the prototype, I've had several friends reach out to me already and feel upset that it looks almost like Barbie hair to them. Now, I think that that's a little extreme. I don't know if it looks like Barbie hair to me specifically, but I would say that it doesn't look as good as some of the wool rooting that we've seen from Hot Toys or InArt recently, which is obvious. This isn't coming in at that price point. But let's talk about that price point, because right now, this figure is being solicited at a pretty high cost. In fact, so far, the highest dollar amount we've seen from EXO-6 to date, coming into the whopping price tag of $295 plus $25 flat rate shipping from EXO-6's website specifically. Now, I would say there's a couple reasons for this. The tailoring on this outfit is way more significant than we've seen with some of the standard Starfleet uniforms. So for that, I can give them a couple dollars pass, for sure. But because they haven't rooted the beard or the goatee, they haven't rooted the eyelashes, the eyebrows, none of that's rooted. But they have put in this rooted hairpiece. That's obviously inflating the cost of this figure quite dramatically. And I'm not sure that it's worth it. If you were gonna do sculpted hair on the face, why not just do sculpted hair on the head. Make it feel uniform, keep the cost a little bit lower for EXO-6 collectors. Or have a secondary option. Have the sculpted option, have the rooted option. I think for me, I would have absolutely preferred a lower cost figure at a sculpted price. Because to be honest, $300 here, or $300 plus, that's getting into Hot Toys pricing now. And are these figures as good as Hot Toys? That really remains to be seen. I don't have this figure in hand yet, obviously. And there's a good chance this will be one of their best figures they've ever made so far. But $300 plus is getting into really dangerous territory. For me, with how many Star Trek characters there are, it makes it so hard to even decide whether I'd want to buy this. Do I even want to commit to that kind of dollar amount? Think about it. With the search for Spock specifically, maybe you'd want a Savick. Maybe you'd want a Spock in robes. Maybe you'd want a young Spock. Maybe for whatever reason you'd want a David, even though that character for me was always hellishly annoying, but maybe you'd want a David. Maybe you'd want other Klingons as his companions, or his creepy Klingon dog that he has on the bridge of his cruiser. Is this going to be the only figure we get from this line? Because at that price, I don't think I will be able to justify other figures from it while also wanting to collect the majority of the Star Trek Next Generation line. But I will say, as a one-off piece in your collection, or if you're a huge Christopher Lloyd fan, or you just love the Klingon species from Star Trek, maybe you can justify this price. And I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Are you feeling like this price is justified for this character or not? For me, I'm understanding why the price has got to where it is, but I would say it's a tough nut to swallow. Now, guys, let's look what this figure comes with. Naturally, he comes with, of course, the realistic KRUGE head sculpt, which I would say this time is pretty realistic. I will give them that. The Klingon commander uniform, meticulously researched. This Klingon uniform matches the pattern and colors of the original costume recreated in 1/6 scale. Boots, the plastic boots are sculpted to match the Klingon battle wear. I would say that's not really an add-on, but fair. Hands, 6 interchangeable hands with rings to recreate the variety of poses. A display base, that hexagonal display base, which will match others in your lineup if you're an EXO-6 collector, so I appreciate the uniformity. The Klingon Disruptor, which is very cool. That's a Klingon sidearm of choice, worn on the hilt or the holster hanging off the shoulder. The Klingon Communicator, that's authentically reproduced communicator based on the prop from Star Trek 3. A removable robe with Klingon symbols attached at the shoulders, which I really appreciate the fact that you can get multiple looks from this figure. The Klingon armored vest with shoulder pads. The vambraces with Klingon symbols along the length. Now, this does come in at 12.5 inches tall as well, so he'll be a little taller than some standard 6 scale figure releases. I think the only other thing that I would say is, EXO-6, come on, your pictures need to get better. They just need to at this point. This is getting ridiculous. All the pictures here have different lighting, different exposure levels, different coloration, saturation, all of the things. We need to get better pictures if you want us to buy these figures, especially at this price point. I recommend everybody watching this episode today go over and take a look at 6 Scale Mafia's YouTube channel. He's posting excellent photos right now of his live walkthroughs at the EXO-6 booth in Las Vegas, and it's really cool. So go check his channel out as well. That's 6 Scale Mafia on YouTube. Now the question for me is, will I pick this figure up? I want to say yes. For me, I really loved this film as a kid. It hits on the nostalgic points for me. It will be my one-off Kirk era figure though. I might put him with my Wrath of Khan figures when I get them, even though they're from a different film. Because honestly, I don't know if I could see myself collecting anything else from the Search for Spock, other than maybe the Klingon dog or a Klingon chair from the bridge. That could be cool, especially with EXO-6 doing some of the furniture now as well. But otherwise, I'm going to still stick to the Next Generation lineup. And right now, Star Trek Con is going on in Las Vegas, so we're seeing quite a bit coming from them that I'll address in a later video as well. So guys, stay tuned to the channel for more Star Trek content and my take on EXO-6 this week. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this figure? Are you picking it up? Do you feel like it's overpriced? What do you think of the hair? Are you happy with it? Or do you wish they'd done sculpted? Let me know what you guys think down below. Let's keep it civil. We're all Star Trek fans here at the end of the day. And honestly, I'm still really friggin' excited about this release. This one will be a cool figure in my collection, despite that really tough price to pay. But you know what? At the end of the day, we got to give this feedback when we can. But otherwise, you guys just tuned in to the Ben Thomas Show for another EXO-6 preview video. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Live long and prosper.